Hello，你哋大家好高興啦，又嚟到我哋 C 嘅 channel。咁今日咧，我哋請到我一個好高興請到我哋一位嘅嘉賓咧，就係叫 Konrad。咁咧佢幫我喺英國嘅 HMO 咧就管理我嘅物業嘅。咁我咧小女子咧之前同大家傾過咧，就我係有一間屋啦，咁係租出去咧係做作為一個HMO 嘅，等住同大家一齊分享嘅。咁啊，我之前咧係有一個管理嘅公司幫我管理啦，咁我發現咧管理得唔係幾好嘅。咁依家咧我啱啱揾咗個新管理公司，咁好高興咧同大家分享一下咧我嘅歷程啦，同埋咧揾咗呢個新嘅經理咧，咁樣講下我哋做嘅生意嘅。Hi Konrad, nice to meet you. And nice to see you again. Yeah, thank you for speaking Chinese.
Oh, I know very little, just that. Well, maybe a few more words. Hello, everyone.
So I just explained to my audience that you are my property management manager for my property in UK, and I think I'm in really good hands so far, and I've seen a really great response. I love to share with my audience what kind of property market that we are facing in the UK, and why did I invest in HMO? What is it? From like a very base level, we can start discussing this topic and in a series. So, what is a HMO? Maybe a lot of people don't even know what that is.
Right. Okay. HMO is a house, meaning HMO means
a technical term.
House of multiple occupation. So it's a property where we do multi-let. So we let all individual rooms to individual persons. So for example, we can have mini HMOs, which are 3 or 4 unrelated people sharing the kitchen and the bathroom. We have licensed HMOs, which are 5 or 6 unrelated people sharing the kitchen. The bathroom could be ensuite, for example, but the sharing facilities in the property. Or we have larger HMOs, which are 7-bed or above, which requires planning application, and they called like sui generis class of property.
So let's say I have a student house. Is that a HMO? Like, I have a house, like probably 3-bedroom. I have 3 kids living in there for 2 or 3 years. Is that what you call a small HMO?
Well, so as I said, small HMO is 3 or 4 bedrooms. If there are students, even if it's like 5 students on one contract, and they have one assured short-haul tenancy agreement, they are unrelated. They're not family.
No.
So this is a HMO, and it requires the compliance. The house need to be compliant, have regulation, special fire alarms, interlinked fire alarms.
Well, we were going to that, but so you're saying if it's a student house, you would need a license for that?
Yes.
A HMO license.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm so shocked, because back in the day, when I was a student, I don't think my landlord had a license. Ever.
Well, back in the day, it was quite a bit more eased. There were quite a lot of landlords who didn't comply with any of the regulations. The council weren't pursuing those landlords a lot. Now things have changed in England, and because there were like different accidents in different properties, and especially in houses of multiple occupation, and the council is very strict now on everything to be safe for people to live in. So that's why all the regulations are in place, and the council are checking it very strictly. It's nothing like really which can't be done. It's just, well, it costs a little, but that puts a lot of people, old-fashioned landlords, that puts off. Then
that just phrase out all the not very professional landlord out. Yeah. And because they can't be bothered, and by doing so, actually you're going to get more quality landlords who take care of the tenants, the health and safety issues, and perhaps happier tenants. Would you say that?
Yeah, it gets harder, yes, for the dodgy, for rogue landlords, and they exiting the market, and that creates better properties, better houses for students, for not just students, for professionals. We specialize in professional type of tenants.
That's what we do. We don't specialize in students. Explain to me, why don't you want to go into the student market?
Well,
maybe some people don't know, like, what trouble they can get.
Yeah, sure.
In UK.
That's a good question. First of all, students are more difficult to manage. Usually they are like kids leaving their homes, starting to living like sort of adult life, and they often, and they like, as I say, they're a group of friends. They like to party, they like to hang out, they like to drink. They like to make mess in the property. There are loads of complaints from the neighbors. Well, there are benefits of renting to students, like there are council tax exemptions. However, in my opinion, it's not worth the hassle which that comes with. And on top of that, their students rents for 11 months, so 10 or 11 months. So even though we have saved on council tax, we have at the end of the term a month free period, which is pretty much equivalent to what we've saved on a council tax. And it's a constant rotation. They come, then they go.
Yearly, yeah.
Yeah, yearly.
You'd be surprised, a lot of people would be selling to the Hong Kong people market that HMO for students very attractive. And yes, because they have cash, they are young, and they are definitely going to study during that period where of their degree. But I think a lot of Hong Kong people do not know the culture of UK students. They're only seeing the students from Hong Kong who's studious and polite and tidy, but they haven't really seen the horror what a student house can be in UK. And I think this is a huge, trouble ahead if you're renting out to students.
Yes, that's correct. Well, I agree. Students, especially students from Hong Kong, from China, there is never a problem with payments, but the other problem comes up with management and maintenance, and then the cleaning of the property. That's what makes it difficult. Hong Kong students, Chinese students, they always, most of the times they come, once they move in, they pay the whole year in advance, which is good. But then in the meantime, like throughout the year, we need to manage them. We need to listen to complaints, and it's not just the Chinese students. It's just the students, because
in general,
students in general, they like to party. That's why we just decided to stick to professional market, because we're renting throughout the whole year, not just 11 months. And if one tenant leaves, there is still others. Like, I don't know.
So why do we want to do HMO? Like, what is the benefit of it compared to, like, you say we are targeted to the professional market, but why do we do HMO in the first place?
Well, obviously it's a cash flow. Cash flow is way greater. It may sound strange, but the risk is lower if we rent HMO rather than a single let property. And the reason being is that if you have a single let type of property and somebody leaves, then we have a property which is empty. And same it is if like single family stops paying rent. It's not happening often, but that's the risk. And if that happens, then we have a liability, mortgage to pay, other like bills, and not bills, but gas certificates, etc. But we haven't got the costs, the income coming. Whereby if we have a HMO, and one tenant leaves, there are still 4 others or 5 others who pays the rent, and we're still making money on top of that. Apart from the cash flow being way greater than when we have a single let type of property.
Absolutely agree with you. Because basically you are talking about your one asset is tied into one tenant, and all your hopes and dreams is tied with the one tenant. As for HMO, your risk in that tenant that not paying rent is spread across 5 or 6 people. So probably you're still going to receive some rent if one person misbehave, right? That's what we're hoping, that we don't have that scenario. But if the one do, it's only one of your 6 opportunities. Whereas one property, you are stuck when they don't pay rent for a long while.
Yeah, and also it's much easier to get a tenant from a HMO room who is not paying, rather than a family with 2 kids.
How so?
Those pay rent. So it's just like, you know, that makes it much more easier to kick out one young lad instead of a family.
Okay. So what will be the process of kicking this person out? What about the numbers? Like cash flow wise, how attractive are we compared to a single let?
That's a good question, and it's difficult to answer it at the moment, because it's all due to property individually. Nowadays, the interest rates are quite high. We reached 5% base rate in England, and it's likely it will go higher. So it's difficult to say. It depends how much we buy the property, how much we spend on a refurb. It depends if we want to refinance it or we want to keep it own it outright without the mortgage. In our area, the HMO is worth around 350,000 plus 250 from a smaller HMO. We can buy a house, convert it to, we can buy a house for, well, in a round of 200, spend, I don't know, around 100,000, convert it to HMO, and then we have a 300,000 we put in, and the property worth probably more, and we can rent the property. It's quite difficult to say without seeing the actual property and the layout.
I think we're gonna
rooms like non-ensuite rooms from 450 pounds per month per room, 500 for a decent room, 550, 600, even 650 for a very nice ensuite room is achievable. So if we have 6 rooms all ensuite, and so we can get 3,600 return quite easily from 6-room property, 6-bedroom house.
This is gross.
This is gross. Obviously, comes mortgage to it if we have one. The bills, gas, electricity, water, broadband. Then we have, well, management cost if there is someone's managing it, and I think that's it. And maintenance and voids. Maintenance and voids, I'm usually budgeting 5% out of the turnover. It depends obviously on the property, whether it's been just refurbished or it's an old type of property. For the old type of properties, we obviously need to budget more. If the property is nice, has been refurbished, 5% for voids and maintenance is pretty much enough.
5% is very attractive, really, on the void and the maintenance. To be honest, you talk about very little void, like that's
well, we're quite good at marketing. We're quite good at marketing. We've got a team who does marketing quite well, and the area we are living in, there is quite strong demand for tenants. For HMO rooms.
What kind of marketing are you talking about? You mean to recruit tenants?
Yes. Okay. So first of all we have some agreements with local businesses. I mean, with recruitment agencies who are hiring people for works in in our area, and we help them house them, right? So that's our one source of tenants. And then we use online marketing like Spare Room, Open Rent, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, where we can advertise and look for tenants. We refresh ads quite quickly when we have when we have an empty room. We try to keep on top of all the listing, and I'm always saying to my team, like, if we have a room empty, whenever the tenant thinks of a room, they need to see our listings first, that to fill the voids. And we are keeping now above 95% occupancy throughout our whole portfolio all the time. We're managing 80 rooms at the moment, and we have no problem with voids. We had the problem with voids when COVID was in England. Then yes, we were having like huge challenges with tenants. We could rent like 10 rooms in a month, then another 10 rooms becomes empty, and it was like for quite a few months. However, we've dealt with it, we've done it, and we've learned from it a lot.
How do you think what happened after Brexit now? Like, did it affect the HMO market?
That's a good question. Did Brexit affect the HMO market? Yes, in a way. It's difficult to say what has affected the HMO market the most, because we had Brexit, we had COVID, and then we had the war in Ukraine all at the same time. What Brexit definitely did, it blocked, it's restricted coming into the UK for European people.
Yeah.
So it's less people coming to this country.
To work. Yeah, they cannot come work freely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. So there is less people. Some people, Europeans, have left the country. So that's the other thing. And then theoretically there should be a less demand because of that. However, we had a COVID, we had the war as well on top. And during COVID, the governments were giving grants, supporting businesses, supporting people throughout this period. And then the war happened, and the government were supporting Ukraine as well. And now it all caused high inflation, cost of living crisis. The energy bills went up, started going up. Mortgages started going up, food, everything was more and more expensive. And because everything is more expensive, people can't afford to live in the house. So the cheapest option is to live in the rooms. So that's why the demand for rooms is much higher than it was. The rents went through the roof, because last year we were renting rooms for 400, and in your property the rooms they found 500 each, and so that's 20% increase in room rates. And now I've received literally, I think 2 days ago, I've received text message from energy company that the bill starts to go down more and more, which is a good thing, because the room rates, they won't go down. They'll keep increasing as they do.
As a landlord or investor, I think most people just would be really happy to make some investment and know that it's safe, you're going to have a good return, and it's been taken care of. They don't really want a hassle of managing. So do you think we can offer a service to my audience that we can basically help them purchase an HMO in the right area, get them a good, healthy return, and pretty hands-off in terms of management and taking care of all the repairs and everything?
Yeah, that's definitely something can be done. It's whether it's a existing HMO or it's a property which can be converted to HMO. Everything can be done. We can also manage it afterwards, look after the refurb if needed, and yeah, we can provide good returns. With HMOs, gross return I'll be looking at is 11% plus. That's a minimum. I wouldn't look at anything below that. And from that, we need to deduct obviously bills, maintenance, management, etc. But I wouldn't look anything below 11%.
That's gross return.
That's gross return, yes.
What's the net return? Do you think that not most of like a HMO owner gets?
Well, that's again, it depends on
subject to the cost of the bills, right? Really?
Yeah, that depends on a mortgage. That depends on the
Let's say there's no mortgage. Like let's say they own a house right out.
I would say so. With the bills, let's call 25%, 25% of income. It's a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. That makes sense.
If the return is 12, then we have 25% of cost. That comes to 9% net.
That's still very attractive
return. Yeah.
Yeah, for the owner, really.
Plus, obviously, as the property, do they go up in value?
Yeah. Because it's a HMO, you probably can sell the property for higher, like a business, rather than just a property alone. You are actually selling it as a profitable business.